Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to do end-to-end Azure Data Factory projects. So what I have done in this particular video, I have covered around 10 plus Azure Data Factory projects, which is very much important from my Azure Data Engineer and Azure Data Factory perspective. So what you have to do after covering the basic of the Azure Data Factory and Azure Data Engineer, you should also plan for some projects, some data pipeline related projects. So that only I have covered in this particular video. I have covered around 10 plus data pipeline projects based on the real time scenario, and that you had to do before going to interview. So let's see what are the projects we are going to cover in this particular video. So our first project is around the API. So this is a very common scenario which you will get in a real time, like you had to copy a data from a REST API to the Azure Data Lake storage. So that is our project one. The second project is around the empty file. Similarly, we are doing another project for the REST API. We are seeing a different delete file scenario. We are seeing how actually you can delete a file which is greater than 1 MB, like the multiple scenario related projects which we have covered. And at last you will also see the most important, the SCD type 1 and SCD type 2 related projects. So these are the projects which we are going to cover in this particular video. So do practice is important. So let's start. Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to do one Azure Data Factory project. So our requirement is like we had to transfer our data from a REST API to ADLS location. So from REST API, whatever the data we are getting, we have to transfer this into a Azure Data Lake storage. So that is the requirement we have. If I will show you, so we are getting a data like this. So this is from the REST API. We are getting a data like this. From this data, we have to transfer into our Azure Data Lake storage. And also one thing we have to remember, we only had to transfer a data in a proper format. You can see here it is coming like page per page total and all also, right? That we do not have to copy. We only want this proper column, like we have ID, we have a email, and then we have a first name, then last name, avatar. This all the kind of the things whatever we are getting in the form of the array, that only we have to copy, and this we do not have to copy. So that is the requirement we have, and this kind of the requirement generally you will see in a real time, where you have to transfer a data from a REST API to a DLS location. So that's why I am making this particular video, and so many people ask for this video also. So what we have to do, we have to transfer our data from our REST API to the Azure Data Lake storage. So that is the requirement. So let's start practical. So I have created one storage account. In this storage account, I have one of the container, input container. As of now, there is no file available here. Now I am using this particular URL. You can also use the same URL. In this URL, we will use it for the practice. So this URL we will use it for the practice. https reqres.in API users. If you will type here, you will get this particular data. So that get data from the REST API we are getting, right, that we have to transfer into a Azure Data Lake storage. So that is the requirement. So this is our source, and our target is a storage account. Now let's create a pipeline. So come here, click on the pipeline, click on the new pipeline, click on the move and transfer, because we are performing a copy data. Click here. First we will go to the source. First we will create a data set. So here we have to select our source is the REST API, right? So search for the REST. You can see this REST is coming. You have to select that. After that we have to create a link service. Click on this. We have to paste the URL. So this is the URL, right? So that we will select, paste that, this particular URL. Authentication type, as of now we don't need, because directly it is coming from this URL. But if you have, then you can use this all the authentication method which is available, whatever. So in real time, if you will be having a Auth0 client credential and all, that actually we can use. So as of now I am going with the anonymous. Server certification, it will be enabled, and after that we have to select the test connection. If it is success, then we are good. You can see it is success. Now click on the create. Now click on the create. You can see request method is a get, and if I will click on the preview data, I should be able to preview that. So you can see I am able to preview my data. So the data is coming like this. You can see we have a page, per page, total page, and after that the data is coming. So this data only we have to copy. Like we want a data like ID, email, first name, last name, and avatar. Then we want ID, email, first name, last name, avatar. This is coming as a array format, the multiple JSON file, right? So that only we have to copy. Now what we will do, we'll go to our sync location. In this sync, first we'll create a data set. Click on the new. Our sync is a blob storage, so I'll select that. I want as a CSV file, so I'll select that. I'll create a link service. Click on this. Click on the subscription. Click on the storage account, and then click on the create. Our link service will be ready. Where you want to copy, that path you have to select. So I want to copy here, so I'll select this, and after that click on the OK. Now my sync is ready. Now after that, what you have to do, go into the mapping, and here you have to click on the first import schema. Once you will click on the import schema, by default it will not be selected this. Okay, by default it will be, you can see collect reference is a blank, and once you will click on the import schema, you will get this all the options. Now what actually we want, we don't want a page, per page, total and total page. We only want to have a ID, email, first name, last name, and avatar. This only column we want. We don't want total page. So if I'll show you in my source, if I'll preview this data, you can see our data is coming like this: first page, per page, total page, and after that the data is coming. So we only want to have this data which we want to copy. Like in this data we have ID, email, first name, last name, and avatar. So this only I want to copy. So this value should go into the column and the row. So I don't want this page, per page, total page. I only want this data. You can see this is a multiple, it is in array format, multiple data is coming. So that we will copy. So now what we will do, we'll go to our sync, we'll go to our mapping. In this mapping you can see we have a page, per page, total page. This we don't want, so you can delete this, you can delete this, you can delete this, and you can delete this. Now we want ID, email, first name, last name. Our data is coming like in a array format. Like in an array we have a multiple data, right? But as of now you can see by default it is coming 0 0 0 index, means it will only copy the first row. To overcome this, what we will do, in the collect reference we have to select the data. This is the data, right? So that we have to select and click on the import schema. Once you will do this, so we want ID, email, first name, last name, avatar. So this we want to copy, and this page, per page, this we can delete. This we don't want, this we don't want, this we don't want, total page, this we don't want, this we don't want. So this all the things we have deleted, only this we want to copy this. And if you want to select the type, that also you can select, like whether it should be integer, all the things you can select. So let me select the string. It should be, first name also should be string, so I select this all string. This also should be in string format. Now after that what we will do, our sync is ready, source is ready, we'll click on the debug. Once you'll click on the debug, your pipeline is running. Now our data should get copied into the ADLS location as a CSV file. Now let's wait it to be completed. You can see it is succeed now. Now what we'll do, I'll go to the my blob storage account. This is the storage account, this is the input container. I'll refresh it. You can see this is the data. Click here, go to the edit. You can see the data got copied. Like we have ID, email, first name, last name, and avatar. This only column we wanted to copy, right? So this all the data got copied. So that's how actually we can copy a data from a REST API to blob storage. So I hope you got the idea. That's it in this. So thanks. Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to do one end-to-end Azure Data Factory project. So we have one of the business requirement. So first we will try to understand the business requirement, and then we will think about the solutioning part, and finally we will build a pipeline. So let us start with the business requirement. We have a data that is available in a blob storage account. So we have one of the blob storage account. In this blob storage we have one of the container name as a input container. In this input container I have a multiple files, like the file A, file B, file C, like that the multiple files are available. We need to move the data in another storage container, and we have to copy only the file which is not empty. So what we have to do, we have to take all the files from this input container and we have to copy into the output container. But one condition we have to apply, we have to check whether whatever the file is available in the input container, if the file shouldn't be empty. Suppose if the file A is having data, then we will copy. Suppose file B is having data, then we will copy. Suppose this file C is empty, then we will not copy into the output container. So that is the condition we have to check. Create one data factory pipeline which will take all the files having the value and copy into the container. So we have to perform a copy activity which will transfer a data from input to the output, but there are several things we have to check. First thing is file shouldn't be empty, and in a one data factory pipeline only we have to copy all those files where we have a proper values. So that is the thing we have to remember. Now let's think about the solutioning part. So in this case what we will do, first thing is like in this input container, we have to check what are the files is available. So what actually we'll do, with the help of the get metadata activity, we will check in the input container what are the files are available, like all the files related details we will check with the help of the get metadata activity. Now because we have a multiple files right here, file A, B, C, then to copy a data one by one, what actually we will use a for each activity, means we will try to iterate. So first with the help of the for each activity, one by one we will try to check whether in this particular file we have a data or not, and then only we will try to copy it. So what actually we are doing, first we are checking what are the files are available with the help of the get metadata activity. Because we have a multiple files, so we are using a for each activity. Now under this for each activity we are using a set variable. So in this set variable what actually we will do, we will try to store all the file name. So the file name is A, B, C, right? So with the help of this variable, what actually we will do, we will create one variable, and in this variable we will try to store this all the file name. So with the help of the set variable we will try to store all the file name. Now lookup, this lookup will help to check the count, like whether in the particular file we have a data or not, what are the files are available. So with the help of the lookup activity we will get to know what actually is available in that particular files, whether we have a proper data or not, what is the count. So this all the details we will get from the lookup activity. Now finally we will do a if condition activity. So in this if condition activity what we will check, if in the lookup activity, if in the file, if having data, so suppose if the file is having data, then it will go into the true condition. If the file is empty, then it will go into the false condition. So with the help of the lookup activity we are checking in the data, we are checking the file and we are checking whether we have a data or not. If the data is there, with the help of the if condition it is going into the true activity. If it is empty, then it is going into the false activity. Now if it is a true, if we have a proper value, then what we will do, we will perform a copy activity. If file is having proper value, then only we will perform a copy activity and we will transfer a data from the output container. So that is the logic actually we are thinking. Now let's try to build that, and based on that actually we'll go further. So let me share my screen. So what I have done, in Azure Data Factory, in Azure account I have created one data factory. I have created one storage account. In this storage account, this is the storage account I have created. In the container you can see I have a two container. One container is input container. In this input container we have a multiple files like employee1. You can see we have a empty file also, and test csv. This empty csv and the test csv, here we don't have any data. So if I'll show you, this file is available but we don't have any data. Similarly in a empty.csv. So from what actually we have to do, we have to check on which particular file is having a data, and that data, that file only we had to take and we had to move into this output container. As of now it is empty. So I'll go to the my data factory studio. What we will do, we'll create a new pipeline. Click on the new pipeline. So I created a new pipeline. Now what is the first thing? First thing is like to create a get metadata. So with the help of the get metadata activity, we will check in our source file what are the files are available. So in the input container, in the storage account input container, we have all the files, right? So first we will check what are the files are available. So what I will use, I'll use the get metadata activity. Click here and drag it. In this general option, we will go as it is. Go to the setting. We will create a data set where our file is available, blob storage. So I will select the Azure blob storage. Click on the continue. My file is CSV file, so I'll select that. And after that, I will create a link service. I'll select my subscription. I'll select my storage account. And after that, I will click on the create. Now our link service will be created. Now file path, we will select only the folder, this input folder, right, where all the files are available. That folder only I am selecting. I am not selecting any file. First row as header. Click on the OK. Now our get metadata, you can see we have created a data set. Now in the field list, click on this new. Here we have to select the child items. So this child item will list down all the files which is available. So I'll select the child item. Now after that, our get metadata is ready. If you want to debug, click on this debug option. Now you can see it is succeed. So I will click here. This is the output. Now you can see in the child items we are getting all the file details like employee CSV file is there, employee1.csv file is there, empty.csv file is there, test.csv file is there. Means all the file details I am getting to know with the help of the get metadata. Now what I will do, this all the files we have, right, this I will take one by one, employee1, and I will check whether proper value is there or not. So what I will use a for each activity. There may be a multiple approach. I am following this. There are multiple ways to solve this problem. So you also try to think. Now I will just connect this with for each activity. I'll click on this for each activity. Now in the settings, we have to first select the sequential. In the item, whatever we are getting output from this get metadata, that actually we will select in the item. So I'll click on the add dynamic content. And from here we will select the get metadata child items. You can see get metadata dot output dot child items. So whatever the output we are getting from this get metadata, we are passing in the for each activity. So once you'll click on this for each activity, in the setting, in the item, you have to mention this dynamic content. Now under this set activities, so if you will see in our design, we are getting to know all the files name. We are using a for each. Now we will create one variable, set variable. So I'll click on this activity here. In this activity, I will select the set variable. I'll click on this set variable. We are going to create one variable and there we will store. So I'll click on the new, and the variable name is the file name. This is the variable I am creating. In this variable, I just want to store the file name, whatever we are getting from this get metadata. So I have used this value. Click on the add dynamic content and this one, right, item dot name, means file name we want to store. So I am using a item dot name. Click on the OK. Now let me execute. I'll click on the debug. Now in this set variable, I should get all the file name one by one in this particular variable. So you can see, now you can see it is executed. So first the get metadata output, this all the files is there. Now in the set variable, what is the first file name? Employee.csv. What is the second file name? We have a employee1.csv. Means all the file name actually I am storing into this variable empty.csv. So that is the thing, set variable I have done. Now after that, what I will do, I will use a lookup activity to read the file one by one. So I'll click here, add activity, click on the lookup, click on the lookup. In this lookup, I will select this lookup, go to the setting, we will select the data set. So this is the data set we have created, so I will select that.
This first row only, right? This you have to remove because we want all the file. Now select this wildcard file path. Now here in the add dynamic content, so in a lookup activity, what we are doing, we have selected the data set. First row only you have to uncheck. In file path, we have to select wildcard file path. Click on the add dynamic and this variable, this file name variable, right? This actually we will pass here in the lookup activity. Now let me try to debug this. What is the output we are getting in a lookup, we'll get to know. Now you can see first get metadata 1, then for each one, then set variable. In this set variable, the file name is employee.csv, right? This actually we are passing in the lookup. So in a lookup we should get a value. You can see the lookup 1 output is like, this lookup 1 output is like count 8 and these are the files and data is available. So we are getting to know from the lookup activity what is the count of that particular file, what are the values are present. This all the information we are getting to know from the lookup activity. It is executed. So set variable to store the file, lookup activity to check what is the count of that particular file. Now what actually we will use, we will use a if condition. In this if condition we will check whether this lookup value, whatever the files we have, right, there we have a proper count or not. If the count is greater than 0 means that is not empty file. If count is 0 means that is a empty file. So what I will use, I am using a if condition activity. In this if condition I will go to the activity, I will use expression. In this expression I will go to the activity output. You can see lookup 1.count. So this I will use lookup 1.count. I will use @greater. With the help of the greater I will check if the greater than 0. So I am using this lookup activity count if greater than 0 means that is a true condition for me. So I'll click on the OK. Now if this condition is satisfying in the expression means that is a true activity. If it is a greater than 0, then only we have to copy a data, means that is not empty file. If it is 0, then it will go into the false condition and we will skip it. Now if the file is having a data and if the count is greater than 1, then it is a true, right? Then what we will do, we will perform a copy activity. So I'll use a copy activity. In this I will select the source. This is a source, right? Now in this source I'll select the wildcard file path and add dynamic content, and this variable I will use. So this is the source. Now in the sink we'll create a new data set. Where you want to store, we want to store in a output container. So I will use the same link service. File path I want to store into this output container, so I will use that. Click on the OK. Click on the OK. Now our pipeline is ready. Now let's understand one more time. So what we have done, this is the pipeline we have created. So first with the help of the get metadata we are getting to know all the file information. That file name actually we are storing into the set variable. Lookup activity we are checking whether the file, what is the file, what is the count of the file, and all the details we are getting to know from this lookup. If condition we are checking in the file, if the value and the count is greater than 0, then if it is a true, then we are performing a copy activity, otherwise we are skipping. So that is the pipeline we have built. Now if I'll click on the debug, let's see if any error comes, then we will do debug, otherwise the file should get copied into the output container. You can see first get metadata one is started and this is the output we are getting. After that the for each activity is started. In this for each activity first set variable will be executed. You can see set variable 1. The file name is employee.csv. What is the count? With the help of lookup we'll get to know count is 6, means greater than 0. It should be a true. because it is a true, then you can see the copy data is started. After that, again set variable 1. You can see the file name is employee1.csv, and the lookup we have a proper value. In this case, what actually happening, again the copy data is started. Now in the third case, the set variable 1, you can see the file name is empty.csv, a lookup is started, and after that the copy data shouldn't start because we have an empty file here, right? So you can see it got skipped because we have a 0, count is 0 here, means the copy activity not started, it's going into the false category. If it is a true, then only the copy activity is happening. You can see it is executed now. Now what I will go, I will go to this input, I'll go to the storage account. If I'll check into the output container, only the two file where the proper value is there, that only got copied. If you'll see in the input container, we have a empty.csv, test.csv, but that didn't got copied because this is a empty file. So like that actually we have to solve. So I hope you got the idea. Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to do one Azure Data Factory project. So our requirement is like we had to download a file from API, and after that we had to unzip those file and we had to store into the storage account. So our requirement is like we had to make a API call. Once you will make a API call, what actually happening, it is downloading a file. Once you will do a API call, it is downloading the file, and it is file is in the form of a zip file. Now what you have to do, you have to make a API call, and whatever the zip file is there, you have to unzip it. We have to unzip and we have to store into the storage account. We have to unzip and we have to store into the storage account. So that is the requirement we have. So we have to make a API call which will download the zip file from the given URL, and after that we have to unzip and we have to store into the storage account. We have to create a pipeline for this. So that is the practical we are going to do. So if I will show you, this is the link I have. This URL, whenever I am hitting, what actually it's happening, if I will download the file, you can see the file got downloaded. Now this file actually got downloaded in the form of a zip file. So if I'll show you, so you can see this is the file actually got downloaded. If I'll show you the properties, this is a zip file, .zip file. What we had to do, we had to hit the URL which is downloading the zip file, and we had to unzip it and we had to save into the storage account. So that is the practical we are going to do. So I have created one storage account. In this storage account I have one container, output container. As of now no file is there. I have also created a data factory, and once you will open the data factory studio, first what we will do, we will create a pipeline, and after that we will do a copy activity because we had to copy, right? So I will click on the copy. We have to go into the source. First we will create a data set. So what is our data set? So data set will be the HTTP because we are making a HTTP request, right? And it is directly downloading the file. So that's why we will use a HTTP. Click on the continue, and the file is zip file. So we'll select the binary file. Click on the continue. After that we will click on the link service. In the link service you have to pass the URL. So this is the URL we have, that actually I am passing. Authentication type, if you have any authentication you can pass, or as of now I will go with the anonymous type. Now after that I will check the connection. Once the connection is established successfully, then you can see connection successful. Click on the create and click on the OK. Now my source is ready now, but open this data set. First you have to open this data set. Once you will open this data set, this is the data set we have created, right? In this compression type we have to give. So our file is coming in the form of a zip, right? So we have to select a .zip, that we have to specify. And what is the compression level? So we have a fastest and optimal. We'll go with the optimal. Fastest will be more faster, but it may be costly, that's why we are going with the optimal. Now after that, so this thing we have to do. So what we have done, we have created our source. If I'll go to the pipeline, we have created our source, we have created a data set, we have selected the HTTP. After that, opening a file, we are specifying our file is coming as a .zip, and the compression level we have selected as a optimal. So this thing we have done. Now after that, we had to store that in a blob storage. So for that, we had to create a data set. Click on this. We have click on the blob storage, and we will save as a binary. So we will select that, and we have to unzip that. We have to remember. Now after that, we will create a link service. We will select the subscription type. We will select our subscription. We will select our storage, and after that, we will click on the create. Now the file path where you want to save. I want to save into this container, so I will select that. Click on the OK. Now click on the OK. Now after this, we have to open this data set. Once you will open this data set, so we have a compression time. So in a source, we have specified our file is coming as a .zip. But in a sync, we don't want as a zip, right? We have to unzip and we have to save. So we will not select anything here. Compression type will be none only. So compression type will be none, because in a sync, we want to save, we want to unzip and we want to save. So compression type will be null. Now go to the pipeline. In a source, you can see we have one option, preserve zip file name as a folder. This you have to unzip. Whatever the zip file name will be there, that one folder will get created if you will tick that. I don't want that. I want unzip and I want to store that as it is. So now after that, what we'll do, I'll click on the debug, and let's see our pipeline is working fine or not. So I click on the debug, it will start running. Let's wait. You can see the debugging is started. Once the debug will complete, we will see what are the files are there. So if I'll show you in the file, I'll click on the extract all, extract. After unzipping, you can see this is the 2 file which is coming, right? Now let's see this 2 file is coming into our storage account or not. So it is still in progress state. Let me refresh this. You can see it is succeed now. Now we'll go to our storage account. This is the storage account we have. Go to the output, and here you can see this 2 file actually it got unzip and it got saved. So you can see, if I'll show you, when I did unzip, this 2 file came, right? So we are able to read the API call, we are able to do a API call, we are able to unzip that, and we are able to store into the blob storage. So now here in the pipeline, if I'll show you, I'll click here. If in the source, right, we have unmarked this box, preserve zip file name as a folder. If you will mark this, then what will happen? Let's try to see that. So I have marked this, and after that I'll click on the debug. Once I will click on the debug will start, and in this time the folder should get created, and after that the file should unzip on that particular folder. So that is the meaning of that. So let's see how our data is coming now. You can see it is succeed now. I'll go to the output storage. Now after that I'll click on the refresh. So you can see these two we have already unzipped previously, right? Now you can see this is the file, this is the unzip file name, how actually it is coming, folder got created. Under this you can see 2 files are there. So if you select those option with the zip file name, the folder will get created. Under that folder file will be unzip. So that is the thing we have to remember. So try to do this practical, try to implement by your own, then you will get better idea. This is one of the scenario which we have done, and before to that whatever the project we have updated, that also try to do with practical, then only you will be having a hands-on. And this kind of the requirement generally you will see in a real time also. So that's why do practices, and if you have any doubt you can connect with me. Yeah, I hope you got the idea. That's it in this. Thanks. Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to do one end-to-end Azure Data Factory project. So this is a delete file scenario project. So let us first understand the business requirement. So it is saying like we have a data coming into the blob storage account. Suppose we have one of the blob storage account. In this blob storage account I have one of the container. The container name is input container, in this input container we are continuously receiving a data from our external resources. So these are the external resources we have which are dumping our data continuously into this input container, like a.csv, b.csv, like that the multiple files we are receiving into this input container, c.csv, like that the multiple files every hours we are getting a data from our external resources. So we have one of the storage account. In this storage account we have an input container. In this input container we are receiving every hour multiple files into this particular input container. Now what actually we have done, we have also created one of the pipeline. What this pipeline is doing, this is picking a data from this input container and it is copying into the Azure SQL. So we have also created one of the pipeline which is taking a data from this input container and it is copying into the Azure SQL. Now our requirement is like we had to delete all the files which is older than 7 days. So all the older than 7 days file we have to remove from this input container. Otherwise if we'll keep on storing into this input container, then it will be very huge after 2 years 3 years, right? And it will be costly also. And we are already running one of the pipeline which is taking a data from here and it is copying into the Azure SQL. Then in the two place storing the data, it's not a good way. So what actually we are doing, if any file which is older than 7 days, then we have to delete a file from this particular input container. So I have taken a 7 days. There may be a multiple scenario. It can be a 31 days. If the file is greater than 31 days, then we want to delete. If the file is suppose 1, if file is older than 5 hours, then we want to delete. So multiple scenario can come. Here I have considered if the file is older than 7 days, then I want to delete from particular container. Our pipeline should run and it should delete other files older than 7 days. So this is the scenario we have. Now let's think about the solutioning part. So what actually we will use, first we will use a get metadata. With the help of the get metadata, what are the files are available, we will try to read with the help of the get metadata from, and these are the files we have and what was their last modified date. We'll also get to know what was their last modified date. So if any file will come, there will be one modified date will be mentioned there. So with the help of the get metadata activity, we can fetch this modified date. So first we will use a get metadata because we have a multiple files, so we are using a for each activity. Now this file we will pass one by one. We will also check if the file is older than 7 days. If the file is older than 7 days, then we will give one condition and that file will come into this delete activity and it will delete that file. So we will use a get metadata activity. We will try to read all the files and we will put one condition. If their last modified date is older than 7 days, then what actually we will do, we will pass into the delete activity and we will try to delete. So this is the practical we are going to do. So there here I have considered last 7 days, but the scenario can be for 31 days, for last 1 hour, everything will be same. So let's try to see how actually we can solve this. So for this I am using a 1 hour. So if the file is older than 1 hour, then I will try to delete that file. So that is the practical I am taking, but I will also show you if it is older than 7 days, how actually you can delete. For the 31 days, how actually you can delete. So let's do a practical. So I have uploaded one file. I have created one storage account. In this storage account, I have one of the container, input container. In this input container, you can see I have a multiple files. Now you can see one of the column, it is saying like modified. This modified days is saying like on what time this files has come. So you can see this files has come on 3 p.m. This department also came on the 3 p.m. Employee 1, this I have uploaded on 1:53 p.m. means this file came on the 1 p.m. So what I have done, I have uploaded this file. First I have uploaded on 1:53, then I have uploaded on the 3 p.m. Now what actually I want to do, I will check. Now current timing is 3:35, right? If the file which is older than the 1 hour, then I want to delete all the file. So what will be the older than, what are the files which is older than 1 hour? You can see these files, right? 1:53. These are the older files. These are the older than 1 hours only I am taking consideration, but similar thing actually we can check for the last 7 days also. So for doing a practical, I am taking if the file is older than 1 hour, then I will try to delete that. Now let's open our data factory. First we will create a pipeline, new pipeline, activity, get metadata, drag it. Here in the setting, first we will create a data set. Our file is available in a blob storage, so I will select the blob storage. Click on the continue. It is a CSV file. Click on the continue. We will create a link service. We select the subscription, we will select the storage, and finally we will click on the create. We will select the file path where our file is available. So you can see input container we have. In this input container, we have all the files. Now what we will do, we will select the field list. From this field list, we will select the child item, means all the files we will select. Now you can see filter by last modified. This is the one of the column we have. In the storage account, you can see we have a modified column, right? So this modified column, actually here we can give a condition. So what I will take, I will take end time which is older than the 1 hour. If I will take, then that one will be deleted. So I'll click on the add dynamic content. We have a one of the function add. We have one of the function which says the add days. So we will use add days. And also we have one of the column which will tell me like the current time. So what actually I am taking from the current time, if I am using -7, so in this case what will happen, it will take the files which is older than the 7 days. If I will use 31, then it will take all the file which is older than the 31s. So like that actually it will take. Now in our scenario, what we want, in our case we want a last hour, right? So for last hour also we have one of the thing, you can see add hours. So in this add hours, from the current time which is a UTC now, this is the UTC now, I will select, I will say -1. So it will take all the files which is older than -1 hours. So this is the scenario I have given. Now if I will try to debug this, we should get only those file which is older than last 1 hour. Now if you can see, we are getting employee1.csv, employee11.csv, employee2.csv, employee location.csv. Now here if you will see employee1, employee11, employee2, employee location, these are the older file 153, right? We are not getting this department and department.csv because this is the current hours time. Means this is the latest file we have. This file we don't want to delete. We want to delete only the file which is older than 1 hour. Similar operation you can perform for the last 7 days, last 30 days, similar condition. Now after that what we will use, a for each. We'll pass one by one all the files. We'll select this. In the setting, sequential item we have to select all the child items. Now here we will add the activity. Click on the activity. We will use a delete. Use a delete activity. In this delete activity, source, first we have to create a data set. So our data set is blob storage, link service. I select this input container. Click on the OK. Now what we will do, we will click on this open, this data set we have created, right? Click on the open. This file name, click on the add dynamic content. And here what we will do, we will create one parameter first. So click on the parameter, new. We will give the parameter name as a file name. Go to the connection. And here we will select the parameter which we have created. So this we have done. Now we'll go to the pipeline. You can see this file name, right? In this file name, in the delete activity, we'll add a dynamic content, and whatever the from for each item we are getting, right, we will select that. Click on the OK. Now our pipeline is ready. We are taking all the files which is older than 1 hour from this get metadata. We are passing into the for each activity, and all the files we are passing through a delete activity, and it is deleting those files. Now let's debug this. Please select a link service for the logging. So go to the logging. So this is we are using for the logging. Now let's click on the debug. You can see we are getting one error. What is the error? It is saying a user configuration issue. File name properly to the string type. Please make sure the payload structure and value are correct. So what we will do, we'll select on this here. This delete activity we will select, and here we have passed the @item, right? We have to use the dot name also because the file name we are passing. So click on the OK. Now click on the debug. So you can see now it is success. Why I have used @item.name? If you see in the get metadata, so these are the child items. So you can see one of the column it is saying name. So I am taking only the file name, right? So that's why I have used the @item.name. Now you can see it is deleting all the files from that particular folder. So first it is checking if the file is older than 1 hour, then it is passing through a for each through a delete activity, and it is deleting all the files. You can see it is succeed now. Now if I'll go to the input container, click on the input container, you can see all other files got deleted. Only two files which is left, which is a latest file. Now this pipeline actually we can schedule which will run every 7 every day, like that you can schedule, and you can delete all the 7 days older files. You can delete from your container, or you can delete all the older than 31st day, or the if it is file which is older than 1 year, that also you can delete. So for everything we have to use the same. Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to do one end-to-end Azure Data Factory project. So I have one of the business requirement, I have one of the problem statement. We will try to understand the problem statement, and this kind of the scenario generally you will see in a real time also. So you will get a requirement, this kind of a requirement from a business, and for that you have to create a data pipeline. So that only we are going to do in this particular video. We are going to see end to end how actually we can create a pipeline based on the requirement. So what is my requirement? Let's understand. My requirement is simple. I have a one of the blob storage account. This is my one of the blob storage account. The container name is a input. Let's take any name. Suppose my container name is input. Now in this input container, what is happening from my external resources, I am getting a file on a daily basis. Like on each day, on a daily basis, I am getting a file into this particular container as a CSV file, as a CSV file. So suppose today is the 1st of January, right? So on 1st of January I will get the file, and it will store into this blob storage account. On the 2nd of January, what will happen? Again one file will get and it will come into this blob storage account. On a daily basis I get a file into this input container. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to take only the latest file. I have to take only the latest file from this blob storage, from this container. I have to take only the latest file. I have to take only the latest file from this container, and I have to copy into output container, output container as a JSON file, as a JSON format. So that is a requirement. Now you will see what actually we are going to do. We are going to do copy, right? So that is a simple statement. But the thing is, like, what I had to do in this particular input container, right? I have a multiple files. Suppose 100 of the files are already available. Now what is your requirement? You have to take only the latest file, and you have to copy only that file. So suppose you got some odd scenario. Suppose on a 1st of January I receive one file. Okay, now on 1st of January again you receive one file. Suppose this first file was corrupted one. Now again you received a second file on that same day, and this is a correct file. This is a correct file. Now in both also, what actually you have to do, you only have to take the latest file and you have to copy that. So that is a requirement I have. I have to take only the latest file from this blob storage account, and I had to copy into the another container and I had to save in the form of the JSON. So that is the requirements. So let me show you the my blob storage first. So I have created one blob storage account. This is a blob storage account. In this blob storage account, I have created a two container. One is the input container. As of now, I have uploaded a three file. And in a scenario, we are saying like on a daily basis we receive a file, but we are doing a practical, right? So on the same date, I have uploaded a multiple file. So let me upload one more file. Let me upload the department.csv. Let me open and let me upload. So I have uploaded a new file department.csv. Now from this 4 file, which is the latest file? All file I have uploaded on the 24th of January, right? But if you will see on the timestamp 336, this is the file which is the latest file, right? Which I have uploaded. Now what I have to do, I have to only copy the latest file into the output container. So this is the latest file, right? This is a modified date time. Based on that, I have to take a decision which is the latest file, and that latest file I have to take and I have to copy into this output container from a data factory pipeline perspective. So that is the requirement, and for that you have to build a pipeline. It looks simple, right? But the problem is like from this particular container we have a multiple file. Now what you have to do, based on the modified date time, you have to compare what is the latest file and then only you have to copy. So that is the scenario. So let's do a practical. So I'll open my data factory. I'll create a new pipeline. What activity we will do? Our first requirement is like what are the file which is available into this input container. First we should read that. How actually we can read? We can use a get metadata activity and we can read that, right? So I'll use a get metadata. I'll use a setting. I'll create a new data set. My file is available in a blob storage, so I'll select that. Click on the continue. My file is CSV format, so I'll select that. I'll create a link service and I'll select the subscription. I'll select the storage account and I'll click on the create. I'm creating a link service. Now I will select the file path where my file is available. This is the input file where we are getting a file. I'll select that. I'm not selecting any file name. Now what actually I will do, I will give this name, proper name, this data set name. So I will give the name as a input source 1. This is the name I am giving, and after that import schema I'll select none and I'll click on the OK. So I have created one data set input source 1. Now what I will do, I will select the field list, and from this field list I will select the child items. Created one get metadata activity. I have created a data set, and from this field list I am selecting the child item. Now what I will do, I will click on the debug. You can see get metadata 1. If I'll show you, you can see I am able to read all the file which is present here. Department.csv, department1.csv, employee1.csv, employee2.csv, all the file I am able to read. Now what I will do, this is my, I am able to read all the file which is available. What actually I want to do, I want to compare this modified date time. So what I will do, I will create one for each activity, and in for each activity you can see here we have a multiple file, right? So every file I will try to pass into that for each activity. So what I will do, first let me create for each activity. Whatever the file I am reading, so from get meta we have a multiple file, right? So each file I will pass one by one. What actually I am doing, each file I am passing into the for each activity one by one. So I had to select this for each. You can see, go to the setting, sequential wise I want to pass this item. You can select dynamic content. Each file actually I want to pass from this get metadata. So I will use the get metadata dot child item. Means whatever the output we were getting, right, that actually we are passing, and I will click on the OK. In this for each activity, go to the activity. What actually I want to do, now again I will create one get metadata. I want to create one get metadata. So inside this for each, so what actually I am doing, first I am reading all the file which is available into the input container. Now each file one by one I am passing into this for each activity. Under this for each activity I am using a get metadata activity. In this get metadata activity, what I will do, I will try to read the file one by one and I will try to get the what is their latest modified date. What is their modified date, I want to get that. So I'll create one new data set, blob storage. create a new data set. It is a CSV format, right? I'll select the same link service. Now here what I will do, I'll pass a input container. I'll pass the input container. Click on the OK. We are creating a new data set. The data set name is a delimited text 3. You have to remember, okay? Suppose I have created this. I'll open this data set. Now what I will do, this file name, right? Whatever the file name I want to read it from dynamically, like one by one from a get metadata activity. So what I will do, I'll create one parameter. Click on the new. I'll give the parameter name as a file name. This is a file name, one parameter I have created. Go to the connection. Now in this file name, right, click on the dynamic content. This is the file name parameter we have created. Click on the OK. So I have created another data set. In this data set, what actually I am doing, this file name, right, I am doing a parameterization. So I created one parameter file name, and this parameter actually I am passing here dynamically. Now if I'll go to the my pipeline, this is the pipeline, right? In get metadata 2, you can see file name is coming. So what will be the file name? So what actually I want to do, from for each activity one by one we are reading a file from a get metadata, right? So you have to click on the add data for each, and what is the file name, at the rate item.name you will do, you will be able to read the file one by one name. After that I will select the field list. In this field list I will select the two thing. I want to what is the file name. I will select one more, and also I want to know what is their last modified. So select the last modified. Let's debug. Let's see what is the output we are getting. Now in this case we should be able to get what is the file name and what is their modified date. So that we should get. So let's see whether we are able to get or not. You can say now it is started the for each activity. Now in get metadata 2. So get metadata 2, I am passing file one by one. So you can see I have passed the department.csv, what is their last modified date. So item name and the last modified date I am getting. Now for the second file, this is the second file. For second file, what is department1.csv, what is their last modified date. Means each file, what is their last modified date and what is their uh, file name, I am able to read from this particular activity. Now I have a file name and I have a last modified date. Now what I will do, I will create one variable and I will try to compare this modified date. So click outside any blank place, go to the variable. I'll create a two variable. The first variable is what is the latest file, and after that what is the previous modified date. These two variable actually I am doing, and by default this previous modified date, what I will pass, I'll pass as a this random date 0000. So I have created two variable, one is the latest file, one is the previous modified date. In a previous modified date I am taking a random variable. Now what I will do, one by one I will try to compare this previous modified date with the each file date. So what I have done, I have created a two variable. So I have created one variable name as a latest file. This is the one variable I have created. I have created a second variable name as a previous modified time. This is the variable I have created. Now what actually I am doing, by default what actually I am doing, this previous modified date I am considering as a 1900. Now I have a multiple files, right? I have a file 1, file 2, file 3, like that I have a multiple files. Now what actually I will do, I will compare each file with this latest file and the previous modified file. So let me take a file 1. So suppose file 1 is coming. This file 1 actually I am comparing with the this file 1 time. So this file 1 time is 2024, right? This modified date time. This I am comparing with this latest file previous modified date that we are considering as a 1900. These two I am comparing their timing, and based on this 2024 1900, which is the latest one. Latest one is the file one, right? Latest one is the file one. So file one is my latest one. So in this case what I will do, I'll try to update the latest file and the last modified. Now in this case what will become my latest file? Latest file will become a file one, and my latest previous modified date will become a 2024. So I have checked only one file now. Now I have to compare with the second file also, right? So now in this case what I will do, this file 2 I'll compare with this file 1 and their timing. Now I will compare this file 1 and the file 2 based on their timing. So file 1 timing is 2024, right? And file 2 timing is 2025. So in this two, which is the greater? The 2025 is the greater. Then in this case, file 2 will become my latest file. So what I will do, I will update with the file 2, and I'll update the last modified as a 2025. So like this I will try to update, I will try to compare each file, and based on that latest file and the last modified date I will try to find out. So that is the thing we are going to do. So for that what I will use, I'll create one activity in the for each only. Click on the for each. I'll use a if condition. Double click on the if condition. Now click on the what is the expression we will pass. Click on the dynamic content. We'll try to compare. So what I will use, we'll try to use at the rate greater. At the rate greater is the one of the function which is available. You can see at the rate greater. Now which two thing actually I want to compare? I want to compare activity output from my activity. You can see the last modified date, right? So this particular thing I want to compare with the one variable we have created, right? In a second comma what I will use, from this variable this previous modified date, means from a get method to whatever the file last modified date is coming, right? That actually I am comparing with the previous modified date, and I am trying to find out what is the greater. Click on the OK. Now based on this condition, if the activity is true, in this case what actually I want to do, I want to update the variable. So I'll use the set variable activity. In this set variable what I will do, this latest file, right? This latest file I will update with the get method to item name, and I will create one more variable, set variable. And what I will do here also, this previous modified date, right? Based on the greater I want to update with the uh, last modified date. Click on the OK. Now this thing I have done. So let's understand one more time. First I am reading all the get metadata, all the file I am passing one by one, and based on their last modified date actually I am comparing, and I am passing into the if condition activity, and actually I am setting the variable. Now based on that what I will get, I'll get the what is the latest file, what is their latest file. Now what we will do, we'll create one copy activity, use a copy data. Now in this copy data what I will do, I'll connect this. Click on the copy data, go to the source. In this source we will use the same data set, the delimited text this we have created, right? Now in this file name what we will do, we will pass our variable name, this latest file. This only we want to copy, right? Whatever the latest file, that only will copy. Where you want to copy, for that you have to create a blob storage. You want to copy as a JSON format, so select that, create a link service, and which particular folder you want to copy, that you have to select. I want to copy into the output container, select that, click on the OK. Now my pipeline is ready. Let's debug and let's see which is the latest file here. You can see department.csv, this is the latest file, right? Means department.csv should copy into the output folder. Now it is succeed. Now we'll go to our location. Department.csv was the latest file, right? It should get copied. I'll go to the output. You can see department.json got copied. Hello everyone. So in this particular video, we are going to do one end-to-end Azure Data Factory project. So we have one of the requirement. First, we'll try to understand the requirement, and then we will do a practical and we'll try to solve this question. So our requirement is like, I had to delete the file from a blob storage if the file size is greater than 1 MB. So what actually it is saying, like, in I have one of the blob storage account. This is my blob storage account. In this blob storage account, you can see I have a multiple file, like file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5, like that. The multiple files are available into this blob storage. My requirement is like, on this blob storage I have to delete only those file which is greater than 1 MB. That is my requirement. So if I'll show you, I have created one blob storage account. This is the blob storage. In this blob storage, I have uploaded a few couple of file. You can see the size of this file is like, the first file is 1.1 MB. The second is 141 byte, 280 byte, 145 byte. So I have to delete only those file which is greater than 1 MB. That is my requirement. So that is the practical we are going to do. Now what actually I will do, let me open my data factory. So this is the data factory. So in this case, what actually I will do, first I will try to read all the file which is available into this blob storage. So in a data factory, how actually I can do, first I'll create a pipeline, new pipeline, which activity I will use to read what are the file which is available into the blob storage. I will use a get metadata. I'll use a get metadata activity. This will be by default. Go to the setting. We had to create a data set. So I'll create a data set. File is available in a blob storage. So select that. It is in CSV format. And after that, we have to create a link service. We will select our subscription. We will select our storage account. And finally, we will try to click on the create. I will select the file path. So my file is available into this particular input location, so I'll use that. I'll not select any file as of now, and I'll click on the OK. Now what this get meta activity will do, from this field is what I have to select. I have to select the all the file which is available. So I'll use the child item. Now this get metadata is ready. If I'll click on the debug, I should be able to read what are the file which is available into the input container. So for that I am using a get metadata. So I click on the debug mode and it is let's wait to it complete. Now you can see it is succeed. Now I should be able to read the output. Click on the output. Now you can see in a child item I have a multiple file like file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. What are the file which is available into the my container I am able to read. So now you can see here we have a multiple file like the file 1, file 2, file 3 like Adidas USA.csv department.csv employee1.csv employee location.csv. Now what actually I want to do, for each file I want to know what is their size. So what I will do, because we have a multiple file, right, so we have to iterate that. So I will use one for each activity. So I'll use a for each activity. I'll try to connect that. You can search for each activity. Once it will come, you can drag that and you can connect here. Now what I will do, whatever the output we are getting from this get metadata to, right, I want to pass in a for each activity. So select the for each activity, go to the setting. I want to pass sequential, so I'll use the sequential. Click on the dynamic content and I'll use a get metadata one dot output, right, get metadata one dot child item. Click on the OK. So each file one by one I'm passing through a for each activity. Now what we will do, we'll try to find out what is the size of the each file. So for that what we will use, we'll use a get metadata. So I'm using one activity get metadata. In for each one activity I'm using get metadata. Select that, go to the setting. Here we will create one new data set. Click on the new blob storage and CSV file. We'll use the same link service what we have, and here we will select the input container, and but the file name we will pass dynamically. What will be the file name? File name will be what is the file name which is coming from this get metadata one. That should be a file name. So this is the data set you have created, right? Open that. This file name we want to pass it dynamically, right? For that we have to create a parameter. So use the parameter, use the file name, go to the connection, click on the file name, click on the dynamic content and use the file name. So this file name actually I wanted to pass it dynamically, so I have created one parameter. I'm passing into this parameter. Now go to the pipeline. You can see we have one of the file name. So what will be the file name? From for each activity one by one the item file name is coming, right? So that we have to select. Click on the add dynamic content. From for each activity, what is the file name? So item dot name you will write. Click on the OK. File name will come. Now what actually we want to find out? We want to find out what is the file name and the what is size. So in the field list, you can select. We will select the item name that will give you the file name. Select one more. We want to also know the size. So you can see size is there. So you can select that. Now let's try to debug. Now we should be able to read the file from this get metadata one by one, and I should be able to read what is the file name and what is the file size. So I should get the output. So you can see the get metadata one is succeed. Now if I'll show you, I am able to read all the file one by one. Now this each file actually I am passing through a for each activity, so you can see it is in progress. Now for each file I should be able to get the what is the file name and what is the file size. So you can see get metadata 2. So you can see this is the file and what is the file size. This many file size is there. So for the second get metadata 2, you can see this is the file. What is the file size? 141. So now you can see I am able to read the what is the size of the file. So you can see department.csv is a 141 bytes only. Employee1.csv is 280 bytes only, 145 bytes only. But this is a 1.1 MIB. So you have to what we have to do? We have to only write a condition which is greater than the 1 MB and it should be able to delete that file. But based on requirement here in the requirement you can see, right, my other file is less than 500 bytes, so I can write that condition only. If the file size is greater than 500 bytes, then I will delete that kind of the condition also I will write, because that will satisfy my condition and that will delete um, the file size which is greater than 1 MB. But we can write a multiple condition based on the business requirement. So I am able to read each file one by one and able to read the file size. Now what I will do, I will try to find out the file size which is greater than 1 MB, right? So I'll click on the add activity, if condition. In this if condition, I will write one expression. Click on the if condition, go to the activity. In the expression, we will write a condition. So I'll use a at the rate greater, and what actually we want to compare. So you can see activity output, right? So from this get metadata to whatever the size is coming, if the file size is greater than 1000 bytes, I am writing condition if the file size is 1000 greater than 1000 bytes, then I want to delete, because in my case most of the file is less than 1000 bytes, right? So I'm writing that condition. If it is greater than 1000 bytes, then I want to delete. So that is the condition I am writing. But for 1 MB also you can convert 1 MB to the byte, and that you can pass here. Now click on the OK. Now if the file size is greater than 1000 bytes, then it is a true, right? So in the case of the true, what actually you want to do? If it is a greater than 1000 bytes, then I want to delete it. So click on the true. In this case, what I want to do? I want to do a delete. So I'll use a delete activity. Select that. Go to the source. You can select the same data set which we have created. Which file you want to delete? So this we will pass a dynamic content. Which file we want to delete? Which is coming through a get metadata to item name, this particular name. Click on the OK. Now go to the logging setting. In the logging setting, you have to select the link service, and also you can select the folder path where you want to save. So let me save this into this one input container only, the logging details, but you can create a separate folder for that. So now our pipeline is ready. So what actually we are doing, let me show you. First, from a get metadata one, we are able to read all the file which is available in container. Each file I am passing through a for each activity. I am trying to find out what is the file size and file name. Now, if the files in if condition, if the file size is greater than 1000 bytes, then what actually I am doing? I am performing a delete activity. So that is the thing I have done. Now let me click on the debug and let's see whether it is getting deleted or not. Now you can see it is succeed now. Now the file should be deleted. You can see in input container, this was the file which was greater than 1000 bytes, right? Now let me refresh, it should be deleted. Click on the refresh. You can see that file got deleted, on only these three files are pending. And you can see one log file also got created because we have selected the logging details here only, right? So whatever the file which size was 1000 byte greater, with that file got deleted. Similarly, you can write it for the 1 MB also. If the file size is greater, then you can convert the MB into the bytes and you can write that condition in a if condition. So I hope you got the idea. That's it in this video. Please do practice. Hello everyone. So in this particular video, we are going to do one Azure Data Factory project. So we have one of the requirements. So first we will try to understand the requirement, and then we will think about the solutioning part, and finally we will do a practical. So my requirement is like I had to copy multiple table using a Azure Data Factory. So let's understand the requirement. My requirement is like I have one of the SQL DB. So in a SQL DB, I have a multiple database. Like I have a database like DBO, I have a database like sales database, I have a database like a customer database. Like that, the multiple databases are available. Now, what is my requirement? I have one of the DB, that is a sales DB. In this sales DB, I have a multiple table like table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4, table 5. Like that, the multiple tables are available. Now, what is my requirement? I had to copy this all the table into the blob storage. I had to copy into the blob storage as a CSV file, file. So in a blob storage, I have one of the container. In this container, I had to copy all the table one by one into this blob storage as a in the form of the CSV file. So that is my requirement. So I had to create one data pipeline for that. This is the Azure Data Factory pipeline I had to create. What this ADF pipeline will do, it will try to do a bulk copy. It will try to do a bulk copy, means whatever the table is available into this particular database, each table it should copy into the blob storage account one by one. So that is a requirement. So let's try to do this. So let me show you first SQL DB. So I have this SQL DB, Azure SQL DB. So in this SQL DB, you can see in the left side, right? We have a multiple tables are available. How actually you can get this table for doing the project? So while creating a Azure SQL database, you can select a sample database option. Then this all the table will already be present in your Azure SQL database. Now what we have to do? We have to copy all the table which is present into the SQL LT database. So how actually you will get to know like what are the databases present, what are the table is present into your SQL DB. So if you will write a query, select table schema, table name from a information schema dot tables, and if you will execute only this query, so this query will give you information like what are the databases present in your Azure SQL and what are the table is present. So you can see I have one of the database sys database. In this sys database, this is the table present. I have another database sales LT database, and these are the multiple tables are available. Similarly, I have a DBO database. In this DBO database, I have this all the tables are present. Now my requirement is like whatever the whatever the table is present into the sales LT database, I had to copy also. You can see customer is there, product model is there, product is there. So all the table I had to copy. So if I'll write a query, if I'll filter table schema equal to sales LT, and if I'll execute this, I'll get only the DB name as a sales LT, and these are the table which is present into this particular DB. Now what I have to do, whatever the table is present into this particular DB, right, I had to copy into the blob storage account. So that is my requirement. So I have created another blob storage account. In this blob storage account, if I'll show you, I have one of the container, input container. In this input container, as of now, no file is available, but I have to create one Azure Data Factory pipeline which will copy a data from the sales LT database to this particular input container. So that is a requirement. So let's see from Azure Data Factory how actually we can create a pipeline. So I have opened my Azure Data Factory. What I will do, I'll create a pipeline. So I'll click on the pipeline, click on the new pipeline. So we are going to create one pipeline. Now here what actually I will do, first I want to read whatever the table name is present, right, which we want to copy. First I want to read all the tables. So how actually we can read that? So I'll use a lookup activity. I'll drag this, go to the setting. In this setting, we'll create a data set. So our data is available in a SQL DB, right? So I'll select that. That is our source. Continue. I'll create a new link service. Click on the new link service, and we'll give the name as a uh, lookup something we'll give. And here we'll select the version legacy because sometimes it gives error. Select the subscription. Select the server name. Select the database name, and select the username and the password. So while creating a Azure SQL, you have given username and password, right? So that you have to pass. Test the connection. Click on the create. So why we are using a lookup? With the help of lookup, actually we want to read that. Now let me select any table name. I'll tell you why I'm selecting any table name. Because I don't want to use a table, I am using a query. So in this, I'll select a query. What actually I will do, whatever the query I have written to get all the table name from the sales LT, right? I'll pass here. I'll pass here, and after that I'll select the query. I'll click on the debug option, and let's see what is the output we are getting. So let's see if we are able to read all the table from that particular DB or not, from a sales DB or not, with the help of this lookup activity. You can see it is still running, so let's wait. If I'll show you, it's still running. Now you can see it is succeed now. If I'll show you the output, you can see I'm getting only the one table schema and the one table name customer, but I want to read a multiple table, right? So what actually I can do, I'll select here. You can see by default the first row only will be selected. You have to deselect this and you have to click on the debug. Once you will click on the debug, this debug will start. Now let's see whether we are able to read all the tables or not. You can see it is still in progress. Let's wait it to be completed. Now you can see it is succeed now. Now let's see the output. Now you can see I am able to read all the table name from the sales LT. So you can see table schema is saying what is the DB name, and the table name is saying what is the table name. So customer is the table, product model is the table, and these are the table which is present. Now what actually I want to do, I want to copy each thing. As of now the table schema is same for all, but suppose you have a multiple DB and multiple table that you want to do, so you can use this table schema and table name structure. Now I am able to read all the schema and the table name. What actually I will do, I want to copy one by one into the blob storage, so that is my requirement. Because we have a multiple, so what actually I will do, I'll try to loop it. So I'll use a for each activity, and whatever the input we are getting, whatever the output we are getting from the lookup, right, whatever the table name, we will pass one by one through a for each activity. So I selected the for each. I have linked this both. While selecting that, click on the for each, go to the setting. I want to copy one by one, so select the sequential. What is the item? So I want to pass whatever the output is coming from a lookup, right? So I select the lookup value array because the multiple values are there. So you can see dot output dot value that we are getting. Now I am able to pass one by one. Now after that, what actually I want to do, I want to perform a copy activity, right? So go to the activity, click on this. Now this table we want to perform a copy activity. So I will select the copy data. Now what we will do, one by one we will try to copy into the blob storage. So that is a requirement. So I'll create one data set, select that. My data is available in a SQL database, so I'll select that. Link service, we can use the same link service whatever we have created. This is the link service we have created. Now table name I will not select as of now. I'll click on the OK. Now this is the data set you have created, right? Click on the open. This is the one we have created, right? Now what I will do, table name we haven't selected, so I'll click on the enter manually. Now what is the schema name? That is a DB name. What is the table name? That is a table name. What actually I want to do, this actually I want to pass dynamically. Means whatever the output we are getting from a lookup, right? That DB name and that table name I want to pass here. So for that, what actually I will do, I'll create a parameter. Click on the new. I'll create a two parameter. One is the DB name and second is the table name. This is the two parameter I am creating. Go to the connection, select the schema name, and this will be the DB name. First we write the DB name, right? So I'll select that. Then the table name, click on that dynamic content. I'll select the table name, click on the OK. These two we have selected. Now we'll go to the pipeline. So if it is not showing for you this DB name and table name, what actually you can do, you can select any other database and then you can select the latest one. It will show you the both DB name and the table name. Now here what actually I want to pass, so I'll select the dynamic content here. Whatever from for each it is coming, right, that item and the table schema, table schema, table schema. So in the DB name, what actually I am passing at the rate item dot table schema. And what is the table name? I'll select here. I'll select this for each item dot table name. So why I am writing this table name and the table schema here? Because whatever the when we have created a pipeline, right, this pipeline, in this lookup activity, whatever the output we are getting, right, that we are getting in the form of a JSON. Now in that JSON, how actually this value is coming? that value is coming in the form of a table name and the table schema. So that table name and that table schema only we are passing here. So that we have passed here item dot table schema and the table name. Coming to the sync, where you want to copy, I want to copy into the blob storage, so I'll select that. I want to copy in the CSV, so I'll select that. I'll create a new link service, select the subscription, select the storage account, click on the create. Now where you want to copy, select the file path. Here I want to copy, select that, click on the OK. Now my pipeline is ready. So what I have done, from a lookup activity, first I am trying to read what are the table which is available. Now I am getting in the form of a JSON, I am getting the output. Now what actually I am doing, each table name and the table schema I am passing through a for each activity into this copy activity. So this is the copy activity we are using, right? So in this copy activity we are passing a each table name and the schema in the form of the parameter. So you can see in this table schema and table name, whatever is coming from a lookup activity, right, we are passing here, and finally we are copying into the sync location in the blob storage. So that's how actually we created. Now let's debug and let's see whether we are getting any error or not. Click on the debug. Now let's see our pipeline is working fine or not. So lookup is running as of now. So you can see lookup is succeed. So you can see this table schema and table name we have passed into the copy activity, right? This item dot table schema and table names, this actually we have selected. So suppose you are getting any other name, so that name actually you have to pass there. So you can see lookup is running, for each is running, it is in progress. You can see one copy activity is succeed. One copy is done, so one table got copied. So similarly it will run for other copy also. So let's wait for that. Means our pipeline is running fine. Means it is copying one by one, right? You can see another data also get copied. So like that actually one by one it will do a copy. Now let's go to our blob storage. As of now no file is available, right? Click on the refresh. Once you click on the refresh, you can see this customer data got copy, this product model data got copy, this table, right? This table actually is getting copied one by one. Still our pipeline is running, so it will do copy for all. Now let me refresh. You can see the 4 table got copied. 4 copy data is succeed, right? So like that, if you want to copy a data from a database and the table, like this activity actually you can perform and it will work. Now if I'll refresh, you can see it is copying all one by one. Now if you want to see that, right, so suppose I will go to the product txt. You can select any format, go to the edit. Let's see our data coming properly or not. Data actually got copied, so our pipeline is working fine. Now after that you can stop this using a cancel, because I don't want to run for all. Means our pipeline is running properly. So that's how actually we can do a copy. So do practice, you will get a better idea. Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to see one of the ADF question which was asked in one of the interview. So the question is like how to count number of files which is available in a blob storage account. So I have one of the blob storage account. In this blob storage account I have a multiple files available. Now you have to tell me how many files are available into this blob storage. Why I am doing this? Because based on the count only I want to take a decision, like if the count is greater than 5 then only I will perform a copy activity. So this is the scenario. So how actually you will get to know like how many files are available into the blob storage account. So think about the solutioning part. So let me show you how actually we can do in ADF. So I created one blob storage account. In this blob storage account I have a multiple files available. So if I'll show you container, I created a blob storage. I have created one container, input container. In this input container, I have a multiple files. So I had to know from this data factory like how many files are available into the blob storage. How we can do that? So for that, what actually I will do? I'll create one pipeline, new pipeline. I'll use a get metadata. So I will use a get metadata activity. In this get metadata activity, first I will create a data set. So file is a blob storage, so I will select the blob storage. Continue. It is a CSV file, so I will select that. Click on the new link service. And here I will select the subscription. I will select the storage account. And I will click on the create. So I created a link service. And I will select the file path. So on which particular folder files are available. So this is the input folder where files are available. I'll select that and I'll click on the OK. Now from the get metadata we will get to know what are the files are available, but we don't have any option for the count. So if you will see in the field list, you will see we have a multiple option like child item. Child item will tell like what is the file name, what is the file types, and we have exist. From this option we'll get to know whether the file is exist or no. We have option for the item name, item type, what was their last modified. So these are the things are available, but there is nothing like a count which will tell me like how many files are there. So what I will use a child item as of now. Now let me debug. So from child item what I will get here, I will get to know all the files information. So what I will do, based on this file information I will try to derive that. So if you will see from the child item, I am getting to know what is the file name, what is the file type, name type, name type. So these are the files which is available, but there is nothing like count how many files are there. That is information we don't have. To get that, what actually I will do, I will use one variable. I'll create one variable, set variable. So what I will use a set variable. I'll just connect it. So my approach is like whatever the input file name which is we are getting from this get metadata, I will pass into the variable and I will find out the length of the file name. Like how many files are there, we'll get to know from the length function. So what I will do, I'll go to the setting, I'll create one variable name as a file count, and we will select as a integer. Click on the confirm value. We will add the dynamic content. In this dynamic content, what I will do, I'll select this child items and we will find out the length. Means what is the length of this child item, whatever we are getting information, right? What is their length? So if I'll do this, now if I will debug this, from here we will get to know the count. So let's wait. So you can see from this get metadata we are getting to know about the name, types and all, right? Now what actually we are doing, we are passing that into a variable and we are finding out the length. So it is giving me the value as a 6. Now if I'll show you how many files are there, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I'm getting to know total 6 files is there. Now after this, what actually you can do, you can use a if condition and you can pass this variable here, and you can have some condition like if the value is greater than 5 then perform copy activity, otherwise skip it. So like that actually we can do. So I hope you got to know like how actually we can find out the count. Hello everyone, so in this particular video we are going to do one of the Azure Data Factory project. So we have one of the requirements, so we'll understand the requirement and then finally we'll do a practical. So the requirement is like we have to validate the schema structure of the file before processing. For taking example, suppose we have one of the storage account. This is a storage account. In this storage account we are getting a file on a daily basis from external resources. So this is the external resources. From here we are getting a file. Now what we have to make sure, whenever you are processing this file, what you have to make sure, you should check whether this file contains the proper structure and the schema or not. So we have to check whether this file is having proper schema and the structure or not. So what we have done, we have already defined one schema for this. We have already defined one schema for this, like ID, name. These are the column. It should contain the file. Department. These are the structure we have already defined in a new file. Now what we have to make sure, whenever any file is coming into this folder, whenever you are processing this particular file, you have to make sure this file should contain this all the structure. Means it should contain the proper structure, ID, name, department and salary. For taking example, suppose I have one of the file ID, name, department and salary. This structure and these structures are same whatever we had defined, right? So in this case we should process this file. Now in the file 2 you can see we have ID, name and the department and the salary. In this case you can see it is coming as a department, but we want the column should come as a department. So in this case it should skip. So that is the requirement we have. Now let's see how actually we can solve that. So what I have done, I have created one storage account. In this storage account I have a one file, employee file. If I show you, in this employee file we have a employee ID, name, salary and the location. Like this the file is coming. I also have one of the container where I have defined my schema. Right, the schema should be like this. So this is the employee schema.csv. So here only the schema I have defined, like it should be employee ID, name, salary and the location. So what I have to check, whenever any file is coming into the input container, that file should contain whatever the schema we have defined here. So that is the requirement, and if it is satisfying then only we should do a processing. So I will open my data factory. I will create a new data pipeline. What we have to do, first we have to get metadata. We are going to use a get metadata activity. So I'll just drag it. In this get metadata activity, I'll go to the setting. I'll create a data set. So our file is available in a blob storage. So I'll select that blob storage account. Click on the continue. My file is CSV, so I'll select that. I'll create a link service. I'll select my subscription. I'll select my storage account, and after that I'll click on the create. I'll select my file path. So I will directly select the file. I'm directly selecting the file. If you have a multiple file, then what actually we can do, we can use a for loop and we can process that file one by one. So as of now I am selecting that file. I'll click on the OK. Now you can see we have a field list. In this field list, what we have to select, you can see we have a different option, right? We have one of the option as a structure. So I'll select that. Now let me try to debug. Now let's see, when I am selecting a structure, what kind of the output we are getting, whether we are able to read that particular file or not. So you can see we are able to read that file and we are getting a structure of the file, like a name should be employee ID, it should be string. This all the information we are getting. Now what I will do, I'll use one more get metadata activity. This get metadata activity will represent the schema which I have already defined. The first one is, so the first get metadata, which is a reading a file from this input container. Whenever new file is coming, so it is reading from this input container. Schema, this is the schema which I already defined, so that also I want to read. So for that what I will use, Azure blob storage. My file is CSV. I select the same link service and I'll point out to the schema file, this file. Click on the OK. Now what I will do, so these two are coming, right? So in this get method 2, what we have to do, we have to select the structure. We have to select the structure. Now what we will do, we'll use a if condition activity. If condition activity, we'll try to connect both the get metadata. Now click on the if condition. In this if condition, we have to pass the expression. So what actually we will do, we will try to check whether this get metadata one, whatever the structure we are getting, it should be same get metadata 2, where whatever the schema we have defined, that both should be same. If the both should be same, then only true will happen, otherwise false will happen. So how actually you can check like whether both the structure is same or not. So we'll use add dynamic content here. We have one of the expression equals, so we'll select that. Now what we will do, whatever the output we are getting from the get metadata 1, so you can see get metadata 1 dot structure. So this particular thing we will use. So get meta 1 dot output dot structure, comma, get metadata 2 output dot structure we have to this one. So what actually I am doing, I am using a equal command, equal function we have, and I am checking whether this get metadata 1 is equal to the get metadata 2 or not. If it is a equal, then it will go into the true, otherwise it will go into the false. Now as of now, so if it is a true, then you can perform any kind of the activity, means you can process that file, like if you want to copy somewhere, then you can process that. So as of now, what actually I am using just a wait activity, uh, just to do that. As of now, I am not doing any copy activity or any processing, just like whether our pipeline is working or not. So in that purpose, I am using a wait activity. So in this wait activity, we do not have to do anything. So what actually happening as of now, in this case, if you can see, if it is a true, so we have defined one get metadata one, we are trying to find out the structure of the file, we are trying to compare with the whatever the schema file we have defined, whether both are equal or not with the help of the if condition activity. If it is a equal, then it is going into the true, otherwise it will go into the false and it will skip that file. So that is the pipeline we have built. So let's see whether it's working or not. So I'll click on the debug. So first it should read the get metadata 1 and get metadata 2. As of now, both the schema is same for the both the file. If I show you get metadata 1, this is the schema we have, and if you will see this get metadata 2, both the schema is same, means both the file is coming properly. In this case, what it should happen, it should go into the true category and wait activity should happen. So you can see wait activity happened. Wait activity happened, means it is satisfying the condition. Now what I will do, I'll go to the storage account, input container, I'll try to change the schema. Suppose I am making this LOC as a location. Suppose our file is coming as a location. Click on the save. Now I'll click on the debug. Now in this case you can see, because both the structures are not same, you can see the schema we have defined where it should come as a LOC, but it is coming as a location, means both the schema is not same. In this case it is not going into the true category, and it is going into the false category, and it is skipping that file, right? No wait activity executed, means our pipeline is working fine. So like that actually we can validate. So we can validate the schema of the file, and after that only we can do some kind of the activity for the processing, like if you have to copy that data into some location or in some table, if it is a proper value, then only we have to do that. So that kind of the check actually we can do here. So yeah, I hope you got the idea. That's it. Thanks. Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to do one end-to-end Azure Data Factory project. In this particular video we are going to see how actually you can perform a SCD type 1 operation in Azure Data Factory. SCD type 1 is one of the most common scenario which we generally perform in a real time. Here also we are going to understand what is SCD type 1, how actually it works. We also have a business requirement. We will try to understand the business requirement. We will think about the solutioning part, and then we will move for the practical. So that is the agenda for this particular video. Now let us understand the business requirement. We have a data that is coming into the blob storage account from my external resources. So we have a blob storage. In this blob storage we have a container name is employee. In this container we are getting a data on a daily basis from my external resources. Now you can see this is the CSV file. We have ID, salary, location, this kind of the data we are getting continuously on a daily basis. Now what we have to do, we need to copy our data into the Azure SQL database. We have to copy this data, the CSV data, into the SQL database. So we also have a SQL table. In this SQL table we have to copy a data which is coming from a CSV file. Now it is not like a directly you are copying all the data into the SQL database, because as we are performing a SCD type 1 operation, so we have to keep few things in our mind. Now first let us understand how actually the SCD type 1 works, and then we'll come to this particular scenario. In the case of the SCD type 1, we don't keep any historical data, we only keep the latest record in the table. So that is how the SCD type 1 works. Let me give you example. Suppose we have a ID column, suppose we have a date of joining column, suppose I have the name column, and suppose I have a salary column. This is the data what I have. Suppose I am an employee, my ID is 1, I joined on 2022, my name was Manish, or my name is Manish, my salary was 5000 on 2022. On 2023, name will be the same, right? But my salary got updated to the 10,000. Now in this case, this particular record is a new record, and this was the historical record, right? Suppose again on 2024, name and ID will be the same, but my salary got updated to the 20,000. Now in this case, this particular entry is my new record, and this became the historical record. Now in this case, what is the latest record? Latest record is this, right? So in the case of the SCD type 1, we only keep the latest record. We don't keep the historical data into the table. So that is how the SCD type 1 works. Now in this case, we are performing a SCD type 1 operation, right? So we have to check the previous data in the SQL. If the data is already present, then we need to update that data. Now you can see here we have ID 1 is coming. Now whenever you are copying a data from a CSV to the SQL, right? And whenever you are performing SCD type 1, first you have to check that if the data which is already present, then we have to perform a update operation, because whatever the new record which is coming, that is coming into the CSV file. So you can see ID1 salary got updated to the 10,000, right? So means if the record is already present, then we have to perform a update operation so that only the latest record it will contain. Now you will see the ID2 is not present into this SQL table, right? Then what we have to do, we have to perform a insert operation. So if the new record is coming which is not present into the SQL, then we will perform an insert operation. If the record is already present in the SQL, then we will perform an update operation. So that we will only keep the latest record in the table, we will not keep the historical data. So that is how the SCD type 1 operation works. Now let's do a practical and let's try to understand. So first let me show you my blob storage. So this is the blob storage. I have a container. In this container, you can see employee to the CSV file. I have a CSV file. Let me show you. Snapshot, edit, preview. So you can see I have a employee ID, name, salary and location. This particular record I have in a blob storage, and this is the new record. I have a database. In the database, if I'll show you, this is the particular table I have. This is the SQL table. There we have to load the data. Now if I will show you in this employee table, I have a employee ID, first name, salary and the location. Employee ID 1, 2 and 4 which is already present. Now what we have to do, we have to copy a data from this blob storage to the SQL database by using a Azure Data Factory. Now in this case, if you will see employee ID 1 which is already present into this particular table. Salary is 10,000, name is Manish. And here you can see the salary became the 20,000. In this case, what we have to do, we have to perform a update operation in this particular case for ID1. ID5 and 3, these are the new entry, right? Then we will try to insert that entry into this particular table. So that is the operation we will do with the help of the Azure Data Factory. Now let's see how easily we can do. So I open my Azure Data Factory Studio, click on the author. We are going to create a data flow. So I'll click on the new data flow. First we will select the add a source. Click on the add a source. In the source, first we have to select the data set. So you can see the data set, right? Click on the new. What is source? Source is available in a blob storage. So I will select the blob storage here. Continue. My file is CSV file, so I select the delimited text CSV file. Then we have to give the link service. What is link service? So that we can connect with the our blob storage. So for that we have to give the connection. So we will select our subscription, we'll select our the blob storage account, and then we will test it. It is, you can see connection successful. Click on the create. Now after that we have to give the file path. So I will directly give the file path. First row as header. Click on the OK. Now our data set is ready. Now what we will do, if you want to preview this data set, click on the open and click on the preview. You can see we are able to preview over the source file. Go to the data flow, and there is one more option. Click on the here source file. Go to the source option, go to the projection, because this is the CSV file, right? So by default it will take all column as a string format, so we have to change that. I'll change employee ID into the integer and salary also integer. So that is how actually we have done. Now go to the data preview, click on the data flow debug, and after that once it will be ready data flow debug, then you will be able to preview your data here also. Now this our source is now ready. Now what we have to perform, we are performing SCD type 1 operation, right? So for that what actually I will do, I'll click on the plus and I will select a alter row. I'll click on the alter row. Now you can see output stream, so it is coming from this is the name is alter row 1, incoming stream is the source 1, alter row condition. So what is the perform we are going to do, we are going to perform a upsert operation. So I'll click on the upsert based on what condition, so that condition we have to give. So open expression, in this condition we are will directly write 1 equal to the 1. Okay, so this is the condition we are writing. Now if you will click on the data preview, you will be able to see the record. We are performing a update operation. Now what is a sync? Now after alter row, we'll click on the plus and we'll go to the sync. Click on the sync. Now in this sync, we have to create again a data set for our sync location. So our sync is the Azure SQL database. So I'll select the SQL database. Click on the continue. We are going to create a new link service. We'll select our subscription. We'll select our server. We'll select our database. And the authentication we have to provide username and the password. Click on the test connection and see whether it is successful or not. Click on the create. Table name we have to select employee table. Click on the OK. Now in the data preview you will be able to see a data also. Now go to the mapping, go to the setting, and here you can see we have option allow, insert, delete, upsert and update. What actually we are performing, we are performing a upsert, right? So I select the upsert, click on the allow upsert. What is the column, based on which particular column we want to see, based on the employee ID. Means if the employee ID is same, that is the, then only we have to perform a upsert operation. So that is the thing I have selected. And after that go into the mapping, go to the data preview, refresh it. Now you can see 20,000, 5,000 and the 10,000. Okay, go to the mapping. It is not mapped properly, so we'll select that. employee ID to the employee ID mapping, first name to the name mapping, and the location into the location mapping. So that we have done. Now I'll go to the data preview, go to the mapping, go to the setting, click on the employee ID. So the name is employee ID, that's why it was coming error. Now coming to the data preview. Now if I will refresh, I should see the data. Now let's see whether how actually it is showing. You can see it is showing employee ID, first name, salary, and the location. Now what we will do? Now you can see employee ID 1. Employee ID 1 which is already present. Now salary was 10,000 in a SQL database. Now you can see it got updated with the newest record. Now in a SQL we are also getting the 5 and 3 record, right? These are the new entries, so that entry is coming here. Means our from a data debug perspective we are good. Now what I will do, I'll click on the publish all, click on the publish. Once it will publish, what I will do, I'll click on the new pipeline, click on the new pipeline. We'll try to debug this data flow here. We'll click on the publish all once again. Everything looks good, right? Now after that we'll try to trigger it and we'll see whether it got updated into the SQL table or not. It is still publishing, so let's wait. So SAD type 1 where we don't keep a historical data, that actually you have to understand, and we only keep the latest record. You can see publish is completed. I'll click on that trigger, click on the trigger now, click on the OK. Now go to the monitor window. In this monitor window you can see my pipeline is running. Let's see whether it is success or it is failure. If any failure, then we'll try to debug, otherwise we will try to see the data which is got updated or not. So in employee 2 I have a employee ID 1 Manish 20,000 India, that is a new record, latest record. It should be updated. 5 and 3 is the new entry, so that should insert. So let's see it got finished or not. It's running, so let's wait for that. Now you can see it is succeed now. Now I will go to the my database. Previously you can see I had only 3 entry, 1, 2 and 4. Now and let's see. Now also you can see previous entry employee ID salary was 10,000. Now let me execute one more time. Now you can see we have a 5 entry and ID 1 also got updated salary to the 20,000. So means our pipeline is working fine whenever new entry will come, and this is how the SCD type 1 works. So I hope you got overall idea. That's it in this video. Thanks for joining. Hello everyone. So in this particular video we are going to do one end-to-end Azure data engineering project. We are going to see about Azure Data Factory SCD type 2 operation. SCD type 2 is one of the important topic because whenever you will work in a real time, there you will see a scenario where you have to perform SCD type 2 operation. So you should know about like how SCD type 2 works, what is SCD type, so everything you should know. So that actually we are going to discuss in this particular video. So what is our agenda? Our agenda is like we have a certain requirement. Based on that we have to build a data pipeline and we have to perform SCD type 2 operation. So first we will try to understand the requirement. Our first step is to understand the requirements, and the second thing is like what is SCD type 2. So we will also try to understand what is SCD type 2, and then we will also try to understand about our data set, how our data looks like, and then we will think about the solutioning part and try to build a data pipeline in a Azure Data Factory. We will see how actually we can perform SCD type 2 operation in a Azure Data Factory. That also we are going to see. At the end you will see these are the data pipeline we are going to build. We are going to perform SCD type 2 operation, so we have to build this data pipeline. So let us start. So let us start with the requirement part. So we have a data that is coming in a blob storage container as a CSV format. So our source file is a blob storage. So we have a blob storage. In this blob storage we have one of the container name as a input container, in which we are getting a source file, that is a CSV file. we are dumping data into the blob storage. So what is our target? So we are dumping a data from a source to the target. So this is our target. Target is also a blob storage. In this blob storage is a CSV format we are dumping, and this is the output container. So our source is a blob storage, our target is also blob storage, and the file format is a CSV. Okay, now next thing is like we need to have all the new record inserted into the target table. We are copying a data from the source to the target, right? So as we are performing SCD type 2 operation, we have to check few condition. If any new record is coming into the source file, then we have to perform a insert operation. That is the first thing. If any record which is already present into the target location, in this case we have to perform a update operation. Let me give you one example. Suppose in an input file, suppose we have a ID and we have a salary. ID is 3 and the salary is 20,000. Now suppose this ID 3 is already present into the target location and the previous salary was 20,000. Later on this salary got updated, right? In this case what we have to do, we have to perform update operation, and this salary we have to update because this will be our new salary, right? So that salary we have to update. So we have to check if any new record is coming, then we have to perform an insert operation, and also we have to check if any record which is already present, then we have to perform an update operation. That we have to remember, and we have to create a data pipeline and we have to schedule it. Now let us understand about the SCD type 2. SCD, whatever the requirement we have mentioned, that is similar to the SCD type 2, because based on that only we are trying to build a pipeline. So let us understand how SCD type 2 works. So SCD, in a type of the SCD type 2, we try to maintain the historical information. We try to maintain the current information as well as the historical data information. Let me give you one example. Suppose I have one of the data set. In this data set I have an ID, I have a name, I have a salary. Suppose ID 1, name is Manish, his salary is 10,000. This is my one data set. Okay, now what happened? After some time, after 1 month, what happened? This ID 1, he got a promotion. This Manish got a promotion. In this case what will happen? His salary got updated. What is his new salary? His new salary is 1 Manish, and his new salary is 20,000 because after 1 month he got a promotion. Now in this case, if you'll see, this is my current record. What is this? This is my current record. And what is this? This is my historical record. Historical record, because this is a previous record, right? So in the case of the SCD type 2, what actually we do, we try to maintain the current record as well as the historical record. Means all both the record we have to maintain, and we will also try to maintain one column name that will tell like whether this is a current record and this is the old record, this is the historical record. So we will maintain one column name like is active something, that is active will tell like this is a current record and this was the previous record. So with the in the SCD type 2, we try to maintain the current record as well as the historical record. Now let's take an example with the data, and with that example we have to perform this all the SCD type 2 operation, and we have to complete this requirement, right? So let me show you the data. So if you will see, this is my data, this is my source, and this is my target. In the target you can see I have introduced one column name is active. This is active will tell like whether this is a current record or a historical record. If it is a current record, then all the value will be 1. If it is a previous record or historical record, then is active will be 0. So as of now, this is my source file and this is my target file. Only in a target we have an extra column is active that will tell whether it is a current record or historical record. Now if you will see in the data, we have a user ID, we have a subscription price, location, PID code. So each user can purchase a different subscription, like he can purchase the basic subscription, advanced subscription, premium subscription, and we have a few price like based on the, for basic you have to pay 99, for advanced you have to pay 199, for premium you have to pay 299, and we are also maintaining the location, and we also have a pin code. Now first time you can see all the 3 record whatever we have, that actually we have copied into the target location with is active, and as of now these all are only new record. This is not a historical record, this is a current record. Now later on what happened, we got a few more records. In this case you can see After some time we got a few more records. Now in this case, if you'll see, we have a user ID 4 and the 5. If you will see user ID 4, base, he purchased a basic 99 India 9188. In this case, this user ID 4, this was already present in our target or not? This was already present in target or not? It is not present. So this is a new record for me. You can see ID 5. Is it already available in our target? No, it is not available in a target, means this is a new record. So this is also a new record for me. Now you can see ID 3. User ID 3 was already present previously or not? Yeah, user ID 3 was already present. Previously, user ID 3 purchased a premium subscription. Now what is the new? Now newly he is purchasing the advanced subscription and he's paying 199. His price also got updated. So this ID 3, previously he purchased a premium subscription and there actually he was buying a, he was, so this ID 3, he purchased a premium subscription. Previously he was paying a 299 rupees for that. Now recently what he did, he downgraded and he purchased a advanced subscription and now he is paying a 199. So in this case, this ID 3 is already present. So in this case, we also have to perform a insert as well as the update operation. So whatever the new record, right? So you can see ID 4, this is a new record. So in this case, what we have to do, we have to perform a insert operation because this is a new record. ID 5, whether it is already present in the target or not, in the target it is already not present, then this is also a new record. We have to perform a insert operation. Now this ID 3, whether this record is already present into the our target or not, yes, this is already present. And also we have a updated value like subscription and price got updated. So now this is our new record. So this record also we have to insert. So what we will do, whatever, this is our new record, right? So this record also we will insert. Now what was the previous record? Historical record. This is the historical record because ID 3 previously it was a premium, right? So for the premium record, what actually we will do, that record we have to update is active as a 0. So whatever the new record 3 4 5, right, that we have to insert and we have to make is active as a 1 because that is a current record. And also we are maintaining a historical record, right? So whatever the previous record we had for this ID 3, that for that we have to make is active as a 0. So this is a SCD type 2 operation. In SCD type 2, what actually we do, whatever the new record entry is coming, what we have to do, you have to insert those record. Now whatever the updated record you are getting, first you have to perform an insert whatever the new record we have, and whatever the historical record you have to update it with the is active as a 0. So that is the thing we are going to do. Now let me show you. I have a storage container. In this storage I have an input file. Let me show you. This is the SCD type 2 second source.csv file. If I'll show you the data, this is data I have a ID 453 and this all the subscription. If I'll show you the my target, that is available in output container scd type to target 2.csv. If I'll show you the data, it will look like this: user ID, subscription, price, location, pin code. But also we have a is active flag. Is active flag will tell me like whether this is a current record or a previous record. So this all are current record as of now. Let me open my data factory and let's try to build a pipeline. So once you will open a data factory, this will look like this. You have to go into the author section and we will try to build a data pipeline using a data flow. So first we'll create a new data flow. Now what is the first thing? First we'll add a source. So we'll give the name as a source data set. In this data set, what is our data set? It is available in a blob storage, so we'll select that. It is available in a CSV format, so we'll select that. We have to select a link service. For that, select your subscription, select your storage account and click on the create. Now your link service will be ready. After that, you have to select the file path where your file is available. My file is available in input container and this is the particular file, so I'll select that. Click on the OK. Now my source is ready. You can see column file. If you want to see data, you have to click on the data catalog preview, and if you will go into the data preview, you will be able to see. Now let's add a target also, because source and the target we have to compare, right? So this will be our target. So what is our target? So for that also we have to create a data set. Our target is also blob storage, so I will select that. CSV format. We will use the same link service because the same storage account, and the file path we will select our output container, this file. Click on the OK. Now our source and the target both are ready. If you want to preview, if you will go here, you will be able to preview that. In a target, you can see we have a six column because each active column is extra. Now what actually we are going to do, we are going to compare this both the data, and based on that we have to find out whether the record is already present or not. So what actually we are going to do, this is our target file and this is our new source file. We have to compare this all the record. So what actually we are going to do, we are going to introduce a new column name as a hash. We are going to introduce a new column name as a hash in the both the field. Like in a target also we are going to introduce new field name hash. In a source also we are going to introduce new field name as a hash. What this hash will tell, this hash will tell based on this all the value, like for id 4 based on all the value it will generate a one abcd something like that hash value it will generate, and based on this 5 advanced 199 india 7588 it will try to generate one value. If this value is same and if this value is also present here, then the hash value will be same. So with the help of the hash value we will be able to compare that. So what actually we are going to do, we based on this hash value we are going to compare in the target also. So in a target also what actually we'll do, based on this value we'll try to generate a hash value. Similarly for the 2 and 3 all the value we will try to generate a hash value, and now this hash value we will compare. So if this hash value is matching with the this hash value means that record is already present. If that is not present and if this hash value is not present, in this case what actually we have to do, we have to perform an insert operation. Suppose this is the new hash value, right? These are the new record. So in this case the new hash value will be generated and this record will not be present here because this record is not present, right? So based on this record we are generating a hash value and this record is not present in our target location. Now in this case what actually we have to do, we have to perform an insert operation. So we will check if this hash value is not present into the target hash value, then we have to perform an insert operation. So let's do that. So we will introduce new field. So click on this plus. We will use a derived column, and this give we will give the name as a source hash so that we can remember this. This is our source hash file. We will add a column name as a hash, and we will give the expression. So what is the expression we are going to do? We will use md5. So md5 is a one function, based on that we can generate a hash value. So based on the user id, based on the subscription, based on the price, based on the location, and based on the pin code, we will try to generate a one hash value. Click on the save and finish. Similarly for the target also we will use a derived column. Here also we are going to add src target. Here also we will use a hash expression. We will write, we will also try to generate a hash value based on this. So I will write md5 based on this user id, subscription, price, location, pin code. We will only consider this all column. We will not consider is active because that is not present in a source. We only want to compare this column whether this is already present or not. I will save and finish. Now if I show you the data preview that for the target, in target you can see we have a user id 123. We have added a new column hash. So based on this value one hash value got generated, and also we have one flag for the is active. If I show you the source, if I'll go to the data preview, if I'll click on the refresh, here also you can see hash value got generated. We don't have a is active. Now what we will do, this hash value from the source and target we have to compare. So for that we will use a exist transformation. So I will use a exist transformation. So based on this src target and src hash is our left stream, src target is right stream. We will check doesn't exist. If the hash value is doesn't exist here, then we have to perform an insert operation, right? So what I am using, I am using a doesn't exist condition based on which particular column, based on the hash column in the both the field. So what we are doing, we are checking whether this hash value is doesn't exist here, then we have to perform a insert. So that's why we are using a doesn't exist condition. So whatever will not exist, that record only we will get, and that we have to insert. If I'll show you the data preview, if I'll click on the refresh, this all the three are a new record, right? This 4 5 are new record, 3 is a latest new record. So this also we have to insert, right? So you can see all the records we are getting. Now what we have to do, we have to insert this. So whatever the new record, we are inserting it, and id 3, this was already present, but with the updated value we are getting, so this also we have to insert. So you can see this all the three we have to insert. So this all the three condition it is satisfying. Now what we will do, we will add a is active column here. So click on the plus derived column, we will add a new column name as a is active, and that value will make as a 1. So what we have done, we have checked whether this all the value is present here or not. If it is not present, means that is a new record. Based on the hash value we have compared, and what we have to do, and this all the value will be a new records, because these are the new record, that's why we are inserting, right? So in this case the is active flag will be the 1. So we are adding a is active as a 1. You can give the name as a is active underscore, you can remove is active. Now after that, we will select the select transformation. We will use a select transformation, and we will just remove this hash value, because this I don't want in a target. So I'll just remove this, and after that we will add our sync. We will add our sync. So for that we will create a data set, CSV format. We'll select the same link service. What is our target location? Our target location is this. So I'll select this, click on the OK. Now our target is ready. Now if you will see, so what are the scenario we have covered? We have covered a scenario, if any new record is coming, then we have to insert it. So we have covered this scenario, and whatever the new record we are getting with the updated value, that also we had to insert. This is the new record with the updated value, right? This is the previous record. Now we have to follow this condition where we have to perform update operation. So that actually we are going to see. So all the insertion, that step we have already done, and this step is pending where we have to perform a update operation. So let's do that. So in this case what we will do, here only whatever the source target, right, this source target we will try to compare with the hash table, source hash table. This target table we will try to compare with the hash table. First we will check which id was already present and where we have to perform a update operation. So what actually I will do, based on this user id, because this is a primary column, right? So from a target I will check on which particular user id which was already present in the source file. If it is already present in the source file, means that there we have to perform update operation, right? So what actually I will use, in the source target I will use exist condition. I'll use exist source target with the source hash. I will compare based on the user id. I will compare based on the user id. I will compare. Now if I will show you the data, in this case what actually we are checking, we are checking which record is already present in the target and also in the source. You can see user id 3 is already present, right? So I should get this id 3 information. You can see I am getting a id 3 information. Now next thing, we also have to check like whether this all the value is same with this value or not. If this value doesn't exist, if this all the value if doesn't exist here, then we have to perform update operation. First we checked which particular column was already present, which particular user id was already present. Now we are checking with all the value whether it is the same or different. If it is not same, then we have to perform a update operation. So we will again use one more exist condition to check the update criteria. I will use exist, and here I will check doesn't exist condition from the source based on the hash value. If you have to compare all the value, then we can use a hash, right? Now if I will refresh it, now we got the record where we have to perform update operation and we have to make is active as a 0. So what we have done, first we have checked on which particular target ID was already present in the source, and then we have checked whether all these value are same or not. So based on the hash value we have compared. So if it doesn't exist, if it is doesn't same, if all the records are not same, and which particular record is already present, so with that I got to know like on which particular here only I have to perform a update operation. After that what I will do, I will add a one derived column, and I have to make inactive is inactive, means I have to make is active column as a 0, because we find out right where actually we have to perform a update operation. So I will select the column name is active and we can make as a 0. After that we have to add a alter row. In this alter row I will give a condition update if condition is true. So we have already identified this condition, right? If this is the condition, so when we are writing update if true means that record will get updated. Now after that what we will add, after alter row we will add a one more select transformation. In this select transformation we will try to remove hash. We don't want in hash value, so we will remove that, and after that we will add a target location sync2. So in a sync2 I will select the data set. It is a blob storage CSV format. I will use the same link service and I will select the file path. This is the output. This is the file path. I'll select it, click on the OK. Now my target is ready. Now you can see my pipeline is ready. Now in a target, what you have to do in the sync, you have to use a single partition. In a sync one also, you have to use a single partition. Now our data pipeline is ready. Now we are updating a record also, and also we are inserting a record. Now what you have to do, click on the new data pipeline, drag this data flow, click on the publish all, click on the publish. We'll try to run the pipeline. As of now what actually we are doing, our source is also blob, our target is also a blob, but you may get a scenario where your source will be a blob and your target will be a SQL. So in this case what you have to do, you have to perform the same operation, only your target location will be changed as a SQL database. So try to do that practical also. Trigger now, and most of the case you will see that scenario only where your source will be the blob and the target will be your SQL database. In the same table only we'll try to dump. Here what actually we will do, we'll try to generate a new records, right, in new files, but in the SQL in the same table only we'll try to insert. So we have to perform the same operation, only the thing is like our target data set will be changed as a SQL database. So we have started our pipeline and you can see it is in progress state. So let's wait it to be completed. You can see it is now succeed. Now we'll go to our source. We'll go to our target location. So you can see we got a 2 file. Now first file should be an insertion file. So all the new records should be inserted. So you can see the 4-5 record got inserted with the value 1, and this is the 3 advanced. This is the new record, right? So that also got inserted with the 1. Now our previous record should have updated with the value 0, right? So I have another file. If I'll show you, you can see the previous record got updated this 3 premium with the 0 value. So means our pipeline is working fine. You can perform the same operation using a blob to the SQL and try to dump into the same table. Then in this case, the record will get updated in a single table only. You will be having all the information because we are using a blob to blob, right? So multiple files are getting generated. So that thing actually you can do. You try to perform same operation blob to the SQL. So I hope you got the idea. That's it in this video. Thanks.